So as we all expected in a business community, CrowdStrike got sued by multiple companies last week. In this quick video, I want to talk about one of the largest lawsuits against them and also talk about 2 lessons learned out of this lawsuit. And whether you run a small business or large enterprise, these 2 lessons will also apply to your business as well. I'm hoping you will take away something from this video and apply that to your business as well. So before we start, if you find a value in these videos, don't forget to subscribe and share that with your friends. And if you don't like something I said in a video, make sure you send me your feedback. I'm always looking forward to learning from you. So let's start this video. So far, CrowdStrike got sued by a few companies. Even their own shareholders sued their CEO. But one of the largest lawsuits came from Delta Airline. Delta Airline hired top-notch law firms and they sued both Microsoft and CrowdStrike for $500 million because that's what they claim their loss of revenue is, about $500 million in 2 days. So let's take a look what Delta CEO Bastian has to say on this.
And it's funny because people go out and wonder how this could happen, whether we have redundancies, and we build hundreds of millions of dollars of investment in redundancies. The issue is exactly what you said. It's at Microsoft and CrowdStrike, and we are heavy with both. We're by far the heaviest in the industry with both, and so we got hit the hardest in terms of the recovery capability. People don't realize Microsoft and CrowdStrike are the top 2 competitors around cyber with each other. So they don't necessarily partner at the same level that we need them to. And so I think this is a call to the industry. Everyone talks about making sure big tech is responsible. Well, guys, this cost us $500 million. That's
what's going to happen? You're suing.
Well, we're gone. We have no choice.
Yeah.
Over a period of 5 days, between not just the lost revenue, but the tens of millions of dollars per day in compensation and hotels, and we did everything we could to take care of our customers over that time frame. We have no. So, if you're going to be having priority access to the Delta ecosystem in terms of technology, you've got to test this stuff. You can't come into a mission critical 24/7 operation and tell us we have a bug. It doesn't work. Well, it's been a wake-up call for me because we have issues regularly in this space, and I think part of the issue, to be honest with you guys, is you look at these crazy valuation a lot of these tech companies trade at, multiples, double-digit multiples of future revenues.
Right.
And so, where's their priority? Is it growing the business or delivering exceptional service? How do you rethink the fortification? We thought we had the best between Microsoft and CrowdStrike. In fact, they're integrated. That's what caused a lot of the slowdown, is because it was hard to kind of decouple them, to unencrypt. Right. We had 40,000 servers that we physically had to go touch and reset. And they didn't all come back on the way they left when they went off, because they're not scheduled to go off.
So on this lawsuit, both vendors, CrowdStrike pushed back and they said it's not their fault. Also, Microsoft pushed back that simply saying Delta's never followed their recommendation. They never used their IT best practices. They were behind with the infrastructures and updates, so it's not their fault either. So both of those vendors already denied it. This lawsuit is going to take long to settle, as you probably expected. But at the end of the whole lawsuit, if you look back, who's going to be the biggest loser in terms of revenue and branding is going to be Delta. No matter which way you look at it, the money they lost in terms of $500 million in revenue, in a branding, and also that customer, inconvenience, all that kind of stuff. What they lost is Delta is going to be the bigger loser. So no matter which way you look at it. So one of the items I heard from the discussion with Ed, and also I read that in various different news as well, stability. Delta kept saying that the systems were stable. They were expecting stability, and that the next day they come to work, there's no stability, the systems are down. Because of that, the loss of revenue. So stability coming over and over. But the CEOs got to understand these are wrong expectations to have from IT systems. So when you allowing Microsoft to update your systems directly, you allowing CrowdStrike to update your systems directly, I'm sure it's the same process that you have for all other systems. They're updating live to your production system. What stability are you expecting? By design, vendors have to update their systems all the time because the bad guys find more vulnerabilities, more product innovation comes out. So they need to update the system to stay ahead, same as CrowdStrike. They have to keep patching those vulnerabilities all the time. But don't expect stability out of them if you allow them directly to update your systems. Stability comes from your own process of testing all the patches that vendor wants you to push on an environment, and you verifying before you push that to environment. That's where stability comes from. When vendors testing their products, let's use the CrowdStrike example. They're going to test with the very common scenarios out there. They're not going to be tested with your environment. You may have some unique applications, some unique products in environment. They're not going to be able to recreate your test environment and test in your IT infrastructure and then patch your systems. That's not their responsibilities. You can't expect that from Microsoft either. Microsoft is going to do some general testing. So stability comes from it's from a customer's own process of testing, ongoing basis. So it's don't expect a vendor to be responsible for your stability. It comes from the customer itself. So if you're a Delta, you need to run your own process of testing, verifying all the patches come to environment before you push out. That's where the stability comes from. Don't expect a vendor to provide you a stable environment. These systems are live systems. They're being patched all the time. So expecting stability as a CEO is a false expectation. So that's number one. The second thing that came out of Microsoft's pushback for Delta was that Delta did not follow IT best practices, or they didn't update the systems as Microsoft recommended. So let me elaborate on this point. So the reason the vendors like a Microsoft or any other vendor, they provide patching for the system is for two reasons. One is bad guys always finding a new vulnerabilities. So Microsoft or any other vendors, by law, they have to patch their systems to protect their systems. The second is, as the new technological advances come, new innovation comes in the market, they try to incorporate that into the current product and deliver better value and stay ahead of the competition. So one is protecting their systems from all the vulnerabilities out there. The second, they're trying to add a value to your environment to stay ahead of the competition and then deliver added value to your systems. These are the two reasons that Microsoft keep investing in the new products. Or any other vendor, IBM, Microsoft, Oracle, they all invest in a new product because to deal with these two items. And that's where that IT best practices comes from. They as they invest a lot of in the money into the new products, they're not going to invest the same amount of money into the old products to carry them over because they already invested in new products. They want to sell those new products. So the IT best practices, you want to stay ahead of that. You want to follow that wherever they're going. Unfortunately, we have to, as a businesses, we have to stay on top of your technology. Wherever these vendors are investing a lot of money, there's a reason for it. First of all, you need to follow and definitely follow the IT best practices. Microsoft saying we're not going to invest a lot of money into those older systems. You gotta get off the systems and get to where money is being spent and what the systems they've been protecting, because they're going to the old system is going to reach the end of the life. So I understand sometimes there's a huge cost to update, but we gotta stay in some sort of in a current environment. So and follow those IT best practices for any vendor, any customers. If every time there's a court case out there, if you're not following software providers or hardware providers best practices, it's going to be very difficult for you to go back and fight the case. I bet you any dollar. If I'm sure Delta is a large client and they have a lot of compliance requirements. If they run any compliance on IT compliance on the network, whether it's a SOC compliance or NIST compliance or any other compliance, I'm sure they're going to fail on the compliance simply because they didn't follow Microsoft's recommendation, IT best practices, and the second issue that I mentioned before this was stability. Looks like from the mindset, the way they've been running businesses, just from the discussion I'm reading, I don't have any other insights to it. Just from the discussion, looks like they will fail on a lot of compliance if they're falling behind with the technology. One other item I've been noticing in the market, I want to add to this message as well. From a CEO standpoint, listen, they lost so much revenue, and now CEO has to go in front of media and talk about their IT departments. Listen, in a modern business, CEO needs to provide the leadership to IT department. I know a lot of CEO, my colleagues and the president of the companies, they usually delegate this stuff because it's a little bit complex to understand. They will delegate to either CFO or CTOs or IT director, or IT managers, and they don't want to get involved because that's not their skill set. But in this day and age, you can do that. IT I hope you can see that from this scenario that revenue is directly tied to IT infrastructure. They lost $500 million. Nothing happened else in the business. Just IT infrastructure was not available. So as president and CEO of the companies, you gotta stay close to IT departments and provide the leadership so you don't have those business impact. And the second thing is the mindset. You can't, if you have a similar mindset that you don't want to follow IT best practices and you have some false expectation from IT department, can you imagine if it's the same mindset, you're going to pass it on to your IT leadership as well, whether it's a VP of IT, IT director, or CTO. So mindset starts from a CEO. So for CEO to have that mindset, that expecting stability out of systems, whether somebody didn't talk to him or he just got a wrong false expectation or not following IT best practices as per Microsoft, I mean, this kind of leadership is going to trickle down. Can you imagine what happens with the IT leadership in their company? So those two. And the third one is very straightforward that, at this day and age, CEO and presidents, you need to collaborate with the IT vendors, whether it's a Microsoft, whether it's a CrowdStrike or any other IT vendors. You need to stay in touch with them. You need to provide your expectation and work with them. It's a time of collaborating with these vendors and making sure that they deliver on what they promise on your IT department. And there's no point fighting back with these guys. Fighting with the vendors, especially with the IT vendors, it will cause you a lot more damage than other way around. If things not working, definitely the part ways, replace the solution, but don't fight with your vendors. They will come back in the similar scenario with what happened to Delta, that they will fight back that you didn't listen to the device, you didn't listen to their recommendations. Because these people have insights to your systems, they're giving you recommendations, they're giving you IT best practices. As a leader, if you're not following it and if you're just fighting with them, it's not gonna be pretty for either party. So hope you find a value in this discussion. Don't forget to share and subscribe to this channel. And if you don't like something, make sure you send me your feedback. I'm always looking forward to learning from a colleague, learning from you as well, and improving what the message I deliver. But if you find a value, don't forget to share, subscribe to this channel. Until next time, see you later. Bye-bye.